Coach McGriff and thank Four Quarters Online for hosting this great event. We always look forward to it and get some publicity for our student athletes for the Big Bend area. So thank you for hosting again. So I'm going to start off with the players. Starting on my left here, we have Ryan Adams, we have Gabe Gamilero, we have Jace Grant, and then Aiden Day. All four are seniors for us. Then we have a couple more of our seniors over here sitting on the front row. So as Mark said, this is my 12th year here at Aucilla Christian Academy. We made great strides throughout those years. We have exciting times approaching. We have 30 full-time varsity athletes, which is big time for us. So when you have a high school with 100 students in grades 9 through 12, including females, having 30 full-time varsity athletes, that's a big deal for us. And we only graduated 3 seniors last year, and out of those 3 seniors, only 1 had ever started a varsity game before the year. So we were young last year, had a big senior class that graduated the year before last, broke all the school records during their tenure there, so it was a rebuild year last year. Finished the season 500, which was a big accomplishment considering what we had lost. And as I mentioned, we were a young team, had a lot of kids get experience last year, and we're going to lean heavy on that experience coming into this year. This guy to my right here, I just want to give him a shout out, Jace Grant. In 7 games last year, he rushed for 1,100 yards. For us, we're going to lean heavy on him. He's starting to get some offers, excited about that. And as good of a student athlete as he is, he gets it done in the classroom as well. So he's got a 12-10 SAT. So he's trying to get that up as well. But I'm going to lean heavy on him. These other seniors, they're on the table with me, as well as those on the front row right there. So been working hard this summer. Been in the weight room, had good participation there. Got some 7-on-7s in as well, doing some big man challenges with our line, working on the weight room, had a good spring as well. So proud of the work we put in this summer, and we're excited to get rolling next week on August the 1st and seeing what God has in store for us this year. So with that being said, we'll just open it up for questions now.
Colby, you only lost 3 guys off last year's squad. It was a really young team. You mentioned it was a fight to get to 500. What did you learn last season that you feel like has prepared your team the most for this season?
Well, I learned our guys can battle. Any coach in here will tell you, you can't just install a system on your guys, especially with small school football. You kind of have to see what your talent is and then base your offense and defense what your skill set is. So really, last year we didn't have one guy on our defense that started at the same position the prior year. And so it was really just kind of figuring out what guys' strengths and weaknesses were throughout the year. We had some growing pains, but we kind of figured it out towards the end. So now that we had the bulk of those guys back, we kind of just can hit the ground running this year.
And then, of course, of one of those 3 guys that you lost, you do lose your quarterback. Jace, just for you, how has been the transition into that role under center now?
No, I'm not a quarterback.
Oh. He's a tailback for us.
Oh, I thought you were moving to quarterback. Sorry. What is quarterback going to look like for you, Colby?
Yeah, so we got a 10th grader. His name's Josh Agner. So he's more of an athlete. He's been putting some good work in. Our line is going to be one of our strengths this year. And then 2, when I have this guy in the backfield, he's going to be a big part of our game plan this year. So we're not asking a whole lot out of our quarterback, and when we do throw, it's mostly play action. And again, it's his first year of varsity quarterback. So again, we're going to lean heavy on our run and attack and our line. But at the end of the day, you do have to throw the ball as well. So we've been practicing that this summer and making strides, not as much as we want to, but we are making strides in that area.
I have a question for Jace and just the season that you had last. Ryan, how do I turn this on?
There's a switch on the bottom. Switch on the bottom.
Okay, hello. The season that you had last year and what you were able to accomplish on both sides of the ball, how has that set you up for what goals that you have in mind this season going into this season?
Well, I would say that my main goal is to hit 2,000 yards, I would say. I mean, it's a big goal, but you got to have a goal and you're trying to get better every single day.
In working with a group like Aucilla, where there are a lot of young guys coming into smaller school and stuff like that, how are you working to lead this pack and have a successful year?
Yeah, well, I say, it's not just one person leading it, it's like a team effort. We're all a family at Aucilla. We all put Christ first. I guess that all ties us all together. We're heavily disciplined every year, so.
Question for Coach here. Talking about the season that you guys had last year, had a young group come in, early on with all those cancellations, rescheduling, and everything that happened with that. How has that, battle tested you for this season?
Yeah, we went through the ringer last year, and so like I was telling Ryan, we really didn't know what to expect from our guys until you get in those games. You can practice and practice, but until you get thrown in the fire Friday Night Lights, you don't know how guys are going to respond. So like I said, we definitely know what our guys have, know their strengths and weaknesses with just having 3 seniors. So that's a big part of having a successful season is having a comfort level where your guys are, their strengths and weaknesses. And I know I keep hitting on that, but again, that's a big advantage for a coach knowing what those are. We want our guys to play both ways too. That's 30 players is a big deal for us, and then having depth. It's not something we're accustomed to, so we're excited about that going into the season as well.
Hey, Coach. The big question for y'all is, in terms of the new Metro Suburban classifications, I know they originally slated y'all to go into the 1S, but y'all petitioned to go to rural, which, this is, y'all been eligible since day one when the rural classification was formed over a decade ago. Why now? What was the thing, and instead of having a district, why go rural? Is it being able to keep the schedule and control of the 10 games?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Just having control over your schedule. And any coach in here will tell you one thing that's a little bit of a nuisance, but you have to do it to keep pace. Is you have to start scheduling teams earlier and earlier. So we had the bulk of our schedule done when the new classification system came out. And, again, when you have 100 kids in high school, you have to kind of pick and choose who you can play and compete with. So having control of our schedule was the main reason we decided to go the 1A roll route this year.